If you guys are from the last video, then you know we left off here in the middle of this parking lot, and it's been about a half hour. It's getting a little cold. It's November in Chicago. I'm not a really big fan of the cold, except when I need starters to cool off. So let's see what we got here. Please start. Woo. Oh my gosh, stop it with the no start. There we go. Woo! That's all it was. We are golden. Yes, I knew it. So the starter was getting too hot. It got baked by that horrible exhaust system with two pipes right next to it. Yes! So we don't even need a jump or a tow. This is perfect. Still need a tune though. Woo! All right, so we'll be good as long as I don't shut the engine off. Let's get back to the shop. All right, we gotta fix this exhaust, not only because it heats up the starter, but it is so drony. Let's call OJ.
Hello.
OJ.
What's up?
How do you feel about doing exhaust on a wide body Porsche?
Is this that SEMA car?
The SEMA car, that's right.
Well, I'll only do it if we can do it like all the way.
Yeah, all the way, of course. I mean, I don't expect anything less.
All right.
Awesome, I'm coming over.
All right.
All right, see you soon.
Bye.
All right, bye. OJ's the best. All right, so we're gonna do this exhaust, and then I think I'm gonna do the brakes and all the other work over there, but it's getting late, so we'll go back to legit 3/4. It'll be able to cool down overnight, and it should start in the morning and stuff like that. I'm so excited, this exhaust is gonna be wicked. Well, it's the next morning, and I couldn't help myself. I had to drive the 911 home, so it's in good company with the Grand National and the McLaren in the air because I have to take out the engine computer to send it out for the tune. But my plan was to drive this straight to OJ's shop this morning and not stop because otherwise the starter will get too hot and it won't start again. But check this out. A 1999 911 hatch with the spoiler for only $200. And the reason I want to buy one is because I realized they gutted this thing. They cut all of this out, and this is metal that they cut. And this was an active spoiler, so there was a cylinder in here that would push this up. It's kind of like permanently up right now. All of that is gone. And see how the latch is right here? It's supposed to line up right in here, and they cut all of that out. So this thing is pretty much destroyed. It used to have a fan in here as well. And so I want to start over with a new one so I can attempt to get this thing to close. We're gonna have to do something with the intake. So I'm about to go meet this guy. It's kind of on the way to OJ's, but I have to get it now because it's only $200. All the other ones that I found are like $1,500 to $2,000. Cool start. Cool start number 2. Porsche purists, come on. Come on. That's pretty cool, isn't it? This thing's like a daily driver, basically. Hey, yellow school bus behind me. We're the same color. No power steering, manual transmission, no cup holders, but got just enough time to take a sip, make a shift. It's a daily driver, people. It's a little bouncy. It's got good automatic climate control. I mean, with just heat, the AC doesn't work. It doesn't have AC. Ah! There we go. Daily driver. I had to merge. It's for safety. Oh, 6th gear for economy. There we go. All right, let's go get this hatch. All right, guys, we are creeping in traffic right now. And you know what I'm grateful for? Functioning fans and no overheating. Not grateful for the horrible fuel economy, though. Well, when something sounds like that, who really cares, right? Who really cares? Oh, don't even need a radio.
Radio? Who needs a radio?
It's asking for a code. I don't have a code. I got an LS though. All right, well, this guy showed up in a Porsche too. All right, here she is, people. Here she is. Couple little scratches here and there, but that's okay. This car was originally black too. I wonder if this would look cool just putting it on as is. It's got the black roof. It has the fan on here, and it's from a 99 911 just like mine, so it should work. Although I'm not sure about these latches. I don't know. But either way, I'm taking it. How much for that?
Deer head?
The deer head.
It's my son-in-law's. He shot it yesterday.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm taking it to a guy, and they put it in these dermatite beetles, and it just like eats it down to the skull. So it looks like it's like a desert, rotted away, you know.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
This is real, guys. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, get out of town.
10-pointer.
I did not think I was picking up a Porsche hatch and seeing literally a decapitated animal in the back.
In
But
an 86 944.
yeah, in an 86 944. That's beautiful. All right, hang on. I gotta ask you because people always give me crap. Do you say Porsche or Porsche?
Well, I'm a snob. I say Porsche.
You do, okay. But you want to say Porsche.
I do,
right?
yeah.
Oh, you watch it? Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Picking up.
The body thing has been awesome. Really.
Oh
helpful.
yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I'm rebuilding the 80s, so it's been really helpful for like tips and tricks, like the steering shaft, all that stuff. I didn't know about any of that.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad the channel can help you out.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.
absolutely, man.
All right, see you guys. I thought we were gonna get in trouble there, but he's a fan of the channel. What do you know? All right, $200.
200. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Guys, I love the car community. It's just, I mean, just buying used parts online off Facebook Marketplace can be an adventure in itself. That was really fun. We got to see a decapitated deer. That's something I don't know if I've ever seen that in real life before. I'm from the city. Met some cool cops, met a cool guy named Art that sold me this awesome hatch for $200. And now we're on our way to see one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world, OJ Lopez from Fluid MotorUnion. It is an excellent morning indeed. I can't wait to show him this exhaust. I sent him some pictures and he's like, ew. Fluid works on some of the coolest cars, including the LSC wagon, my Whipple supercharged E55 AMG. They're building a custom intake for it, but right now we just kind of need it out of the way because we need that rack for the Porsche. Yep. Just doesn't have enough. So as much as I don't want to have a bad battery, this will give me the opportunity to show you guys something every one of you should have in your car just in case you're stranded on the road, and that is the Top Don JS 3000 jump starter. This thing is amazing. So not only do you get a cool handle to carry this around, but they give you a nice carrying case as well. Super easy to use. And I have one of these in my wife's daily driver as well. It took me about a minute to show her how to use it. Some cars have a jump port under the hood like the wagon, or you just go directly to the battery. So this is power. And any unpainted bolt or the negative jump post will work. It will sense that it's connected. And your engine will fire up immediately, and you can use this about 45 times on one single charge. Now, there are a lot of other jumpers out there that will not jump a car that's totally dead. Not the JS 3000. If your battery is at 0 volts, you just hit the boost button and it'll force the voltage right into the battery and start up. Now, the JS 3000 works great at jump starting large V8 engines and even large diesel engines. And you can also use this as a portable power bank. It has multiple outputs to fast charge all of your devices, and it has a really cool bright LED lights with multiple modes and a hook on the back so you can hang this from your hood while you're fixing your car. They also make a smaller JS 2000, so 2000 amps of power, and this will jumpstart most engines as well, has bright LED lights, and can also be used as a portable power bank to charge multiple devices. Top Don is also having a killer deal right now. The discounts are the biggest they've been all year, but just for a limited time. So I'll drop a link down below with all of the information. With Black Friday around the corner, they could sell out, and they make an amazing gift. So get prepared for this winter. Pick up a JS 2000 or a JS 3000. And don't ever worry about getting stranded ever again. Links down below. Take advantage of this crazy deal. Now, let's get to the exhaust. I think he's gonna laugh.
Street flow.
What do you think, OJ? What do you think? Can we use the word interesting? That's a nice word.
I'd more say travesty, honestly.
Okay, all right, I'll take it.
It's a little rough, but there's just a lot going on here. Like, so this side we're gonna weld a hanger to the body, but then, you know, we got the rubber isolator. Okay, great. And then this side, just weld it to the body.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's come off.
Yeah, it's broke.
Oh, yeah, it's broke. Okay.
So like,
There's that.
non-removable exhaust, you know.
I'll have you know, I already made exhaust repairs. It only had one of the 3 bolts on this side and was missing the other one on the other side. So I've already made improvements.
I mean, just hearing it, I could tell it was chambered mufflers, and I could tell the banks were blended. You're gonna be shocked by how much better this thing sounds. Like, I think a lot of people underestimate what you can do with an exhaust. You can enhance tones in the car, but you can't really change, like, you know, what the engine's making. But when you have a setup this poor, you're gonna be shocked by how different it sounds. This is like a slam dunk for us because it's so bad to start with that we really can't screw it up, you know?
I told you OJ was gonna be smiling during this because it's so true. This is horrible. What do you think about just ripping it off right now? It's super easy.
Let's get it off.
All right, let's do it. This is something I didn't really notice until now, but look at all the hits on the starter, and that was not from me. So this thing was just overheating constantly for the previous owners, and they were just beating the starter to death. But all you need to do is let it cool down, or build a really nice exhaust that doesn't, you know, sit an inch away from the starter.
You need to be anywhere near the starter.
All right, on the driver's side, we just have an O2 sensor plug. All right, we don't have to worry about undoing a hanger because of, you know, that. Oh, it's so hot. So hot. I'm taking these back with me. I just put these in. All right, O2 sensor plug out. Nothing is the right size. 16 on the bottom, 14 on the top. Oh my gosh. Ow. Zip tie just fell on my face. This was not built well at all. All right. Bolts are gone. Everything's disconnected. And I think I literally just have to break these welds off the frame to get this thing off. What's going on over here, OJ?
Yeah, this is gonna break.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh. I'm about to break the welds off the frame. Kind of like blowing the welds off the intake, but not nearly as cool. Break. Man, these weld splatters are kind of holding on.
They're structural.
Yeah, they are. All right, just need a different screwdriver. Right tool for the job. Wow, come on. I broke this weld, I think, a little. Woo, that weld is broken, isn't it? What in the world?
Hang on.
It's hanging on by a, there we go. It was hanging on by a weld hair.
Oh no. Go round. No!
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Woo! Sometimes you gotta get violent. We got both mufflers and pipes off. And look at the room that we have back here. This is great. That's not great. All of this wrap is just kind of coming apart. So we got open headers right now. There's only one thing left to do. Woo! It's a little louder. Race car! Woo! So now we're hearing its natural LS sound. I'll splice these in at the end of the video so we can hear all the different iterations of the Porsche 911 LS thingy exhaust. Yeah.
It's pretty loud.
It's pretty loud, yes.
Idle air valve kind of hangs open there. You notice that?
It needs a tune. Yeah, it was street tuned, so, you know.
A little rough.
It happens. I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of this wrap. I don't think it's doing much anyway. Look at that hose clamp they use. Oh, that's a big boy. Woo! Oh, it's so brittle. It's just coming right off. Oh, oh yeah. There we go. There's some nice little shorty headers right here. Not bad. That's what's left of all the header wrap. This stuff just shattered into pieces and it became very hard and brittle like this. So now we have our shorty headers liberated and ready for a new exhaust system. And OJ's plan is to do some sort of crossover on this exhaust. So it's really gonna change up the sound and I think we'll be far, far away from the starter. We moved the 911 closer to the fab department where Billy has already started with our exhaust, and he's built a custom X pipe here, and we have brand new stainless steel flanges as well, looking pretty. So this is awesome. We found the complete factory engine harness. If I wanted to ever go back with the 6-cylinder engine that came in this car, it was tucked up in here, and some of it was melting on the exhaust right here. So I can see that some of this is being utilized. This is the oil pressure sensor, but a lot of this we can just get rid of. I mean, I'll save it, but we don't really need this. As you can see, it's disconnected. I do want to find the factory AC compressor harness though, because I'd like to add AC back to my 911. That would make it more of a legit street car. And I knew this wasn't long for the world. I was gonna remove this eventually, but OJ beat me to it. We just can't have this on the car. I mean, it's cool. I'll probably leave it in the front of the car forever as memorabilia from this, but yeah, no, we can do better. While Billy's working on the exhaust, I want to take this big panel down and see if there is a replaceable fuel filter on this car. All right, here we go. Ooh, I see fuel lines. Oh, fuel filter. So these look to be the factory lines, and then these are some hoses that they added. You can see the double clamps there. We have coolant tubes, and right there, that shiny little guy, is our fuel filter. That looks kind of like a GM style fuel filter right there. This fuel filter looks brand new. It probably only has a few hundred miles. Normally during a legit street car's maintenance plan, I would replace the fuel filter. But in this case, there's really no point. This isn't an E85 car where you have to worry about the fuel filter getting destroyed. So let's move on. We're gonna take these wheels off and do some brakes. Super light, super deep dish wheels coming off. Going old school with the air. Oh man. When I started at the dealership in 2003, it was all air tools. Still remember the first guy to get an electric impact. I'm like, that's never gonna catch on, dude. What are you doing with an electric impact? I was wrong. I was wrong. All right. Woo. So all of our surface rust cleared off. These rotors are in decent shape, but we need new pads. Easy rule of thumb here, if the lining of your brake pad is about the same thickness of the metal backing plate, you know you need new pads. So we don't even need to take the brake calipers off to replace these pads. We can just give them a nice little squeeze like so. Use a rag so you don't damage the caliper. And then once you pry that apart a little bit, as long as you don't have carbon ceramic rotors, you can take a screwdriver and gently pry it the rest of the way. Not gonna do any damage to a steel rotor like this, don't worry. You're just resting the screwdriver on the very top of the rotor. So once this stops, you're good to remove this pad as soon as we knock in this pin. Now we can hit the pin in with a hammer, and you can do this before you move the brake pad in too. Doesn't really matter. And you'll see that pin come out the backside. This spring will end up popping up, and then your punch will effectively act as the pin. Now we do have a brake pad sensor to contend with. That gets clipped on right here. All right, and then we can get this brake pad and this clip out of the way. This is interesting. They have a brake pad sensor for both brake pads. Typically, it's just one of them. This is actually really nice. It'll sense if the inside or the outside pad is wearing first. With the clip out of the way, we can hit this all the way. See ya. Now, before we go back together with our brake pad, we're just gonna clean out a little of the brake dust. You can see that coming out right there. And being a California, Arizona car, this isn't heavily corroded. And you can clean most of this kind of like you floss your teeth. There we go. Little bottom floss. All right, and you can see right inside of there where we cleaned up. Next, we're gonna use a little bit of brake parts lubricant on the pads. So in this area, and then a little bit where the pistons will actually contact the back of the pad, so that way we don't have any vibration. In the world of brakes, vibration is what makes brake noises. All that squeaking and squealing that you hear, it's vibration. Now we simply slide the brake pad in like so, and we can do the other side. We'll use our rag and our pliers once again, pull this brake pad in, compress that piston, compress it all the way in with a screwdriver, right until it stops right there. And now this will come out too. And if you want, you can use a little bit of brake clean on your rag before you do your little flossy floss cleaning. Make sure we get all this brake dust out. Get out! Lubricated brake pad numero 2. Going right in like so. And we'll clean up the pin also. Oh, I love working on cars from the south. Normally I would have to grind this with a wire wheel, but look at how smooth this is just from wiping it down with brake clean. We'll put a little bit of lubricant on the pin as well. Next, we're gonna plug in our brake pad sensors. Now, I did buy new ones, but they ended up being the wrong sensors. So all the brake pad sensors do is when the pad wears out, it kind of grinds into the sensor, and that completes a ground circuit by touching the rotor. So if your brake pad sensors haven't gotten to that point, you can definitely reuse them and save yourself, in the case of a Porsche, quite a bit of money. I've cleaned up our top hardware. Now we can sneak this in like that. And now we can install the pin from the back side of the caliper. Push this down and tap it right in. Once you hear the change in sound, you are bottomed out and good to go. We'll put our sensor wiring right back in its little holder like that. Finish this off by cleaning up the caliper. Oh, these are beautiful. I am surprised that they didn't paint the calipers some crazy color. They just left them black, but I'm okay with it. I think this looks pretty clean. Oh, and I almost forgot, I cleaned up the rotor, and we're just applying a little thin layer of lubricant here so the wheel doesn't get stuck on ever. Don't need a lot though. Anti-seize works as well. I'm just using a little bit of silicone brake grease. That's all we need. And there you have it. Brake pad replacement is complete. I just have 3 more to do. Billy's done some more fabrication, and they will have a complete video on the Fluid MotorUnion channel on everything he's doing here. But right now he is TIG welding everything. So it's been tacked together, as you can see, in areas like that, and designed on the car, completely custom. And now we are getting some beautiful Billy welds. look at these. Billy's test fitting the X pipe right now, and you can see now how this is gonna connect to this side's flange, and it is way far away from the starter. That's what we want. No more overheating starter. And of course, they're designing this so it's not the lowest point of the vehicle, so we won't have any ground clearance issues either. And right now, Billy's getting all the angles proper before he does his tack welding, so everything is perfectly in place. After everything's all set, he tack welds right on the car. Oh, look at this. It's being held up. This looks so, so good. Now, you know it's not a legit street car unless it has functioning air conditioning. So my guys at renegadehybrids.com, who made the entire LS swap kit for this car, they sent me out their LS swap kit AC kit. So we have a bracket, and this fits right in here. And I want to get this kind of just held in so Billy can see what kind of room he has to work with. We've already done this a few times, but we just keep on rechecking just in case. I still have some clearancing on the frame to fit the compressor, but generally speaking, that is where the AC compressor is going to be. So I need to do a little bit of clearancing for this AC compressor. That'll be in another video, but yeah, this is basically where it's going to sit. And there you go.
I got plenty of room.
You got room? Okay. All right, exhaust is coming back down, and we just go back and forth from fabbing on the car to welding. I finished the brakes all the way around, and while Billy is working, we are gonna continue on sorting out and servicing this car. Oh my gosh, if we can get this drain plug out. Let's see if I ate my Wheaties today. Yes, I did. I was just about to say, no, I didn't. Wow, that was in there. Okay, so this is actually the fill plug. You wanna crack that loose before you drain anything, just in case this is frozen in like it almost was, because then you're gonna be out of luck. And let's see, we're gonna get anything out of here. And a little bit of pressure, no big deal. Nope, okay, it's not overfilled, that's normal. Jeez, people, you don't need to tighten them that much. Come on now. Just making it hard for the next guy. This is one of those knuckle busting situations where we break it free and then you just punch something as hard as you can. And that's why us mechanics have battle wounds. All right, guys, we're going for a little bit of leverage here and pulling. There we go. Okay, let's make things easier on yourself. Let's see, this transmission feels great. Let's see what we have for fluid. Oh, is this that, what brand is this, guys? I've seen this before. I forgot on which project. There's a specific brand that is all kind of Pepto-Bismol-y like this. Is it the shock-proof stuff or something? I forget what it, I don't know what it is. Looks good though. Looks really nice and clean. Yeah, I think this is the Redline shock-proof, and I don't know what weight they went with. It seemed a little thin, especially for it being totally cold right now, but it calls for 75-90 gear oil. And it actually said in the ad from a couple years ago, the auction ad, that they had just serviced the transmission, but this is why I go ahead and just service everything, so I know it's got the right stuff. Not saying this is the wrong stuff, but it seemed a little thin to me. Click, click, click. And of course, I'm giving it the AMSOIL Severe gear. This is a great differential, or in this case, transmission fluid. And it doesn't look like Pepto-Bismol. So we're just gonna fill this up until it starts to come out. These pouches are awesome. It makes sure that you get every last little drip in there. Quart number 2 is going in, and if you guys want to get 25% off all AMSOIL products, you can become one of my preferred customers just by clicking the link down below. This stuff gets shipped right to your door, and with the discount, it ends up being cheaper than buying most stuff at the parts store. It's kind of nice. Good to the last drop. There we go. Perfect. It is exactly 2 quarts. See how it's coming out a little bit right now? We can go ahead and cap it off. And now we know this is filled properly. So transmission service is done. Don't pay a dealership to do this. You guys can do this at home. It's easy and fun. And then just don't tighten it like your He-Man, just a little. There you go. It's not going anywhere. We're good. Guys, look at this. On the passenger side, it looks like the engine harness goes right here to these big, huge connectors. Can we just simply remove these from the car? They definitely screw right out. Okay. Oh my gosh. That is definitely it. Hello. Yep. All right, it's coming out. Look at that. Now we just got to cut some zip ties. Another zip tie right here. Okay, more zip ties. This is really interesting. This is the factory connector for the Porsche coolant temperature sensor, and these are the wires that melted on the exhaust for that sensor, and they were all touching. There's no way the sensor was working properly, and this could be the reason why the factory fans didn't work, and they rigged up the aftermarket temperature sensor and the aftermarket pusher fans. So if we can fix this wiring, we might be able to have the factory ECU control the fans. Either way, what I'm doing here is taking the entire harness apart, so I'm unraveling unraveling all of the tape that's on it, and we're just gonna pluck out what we need. So we need these wires going to the oil pressure sensor. That's so the factory gauge works. This part we need as well. This goes to the starter, and then the factory coolant sensor. So basically, we can eliminate all of this and just keep these right here. The spaghetti bowl of wiring has been a little bit confusing, but I think I got this. So here it is all unraveled, and I've plucked out the wires that we need to save. So we have these two guys, which are these two right here, and that goes to the oil pressure switch, and these guys go to the factory Porsche coolant sensor. So we need to leave those in the harness. Everything else we can cut. So I will leave a little bit of length here just in case later we discover we need to splice something back in. Spaghetti wires, get out. Oh my gosh. All right, just want to be 100% here. Okay, we're good there. We're good there. So we're gonna cut these two, and we'll cut these as well. All right, this is all we need from this leg. Excellent. And this is for the factory air conditioning compressor, and these yellow guys are for the starter. Everything else can go away. There we go. Okay. So we have just eliminated all of this right here. And I know some of you guys may be thinking this could have been very valuable or something like that. I'm going to hang on to a lot of this, but usually with harnesses like this on cars that aren't extremely rare, the most valuable part are the connectors, which we still have all of those intact. A car of this age, if it needs a repair that requires wiring, typically they won't just put an entire engine harness on them because it's kind of expensive to do that. They'll just cut off what they need from a junkyard car. So we still have all that. All right, guys. You might remember that we used to have some plumbing parts on here from Home Depot. Now we have this beauty here. So Keller found this from McMaster, right?
That's right.
So this is the gigantic hose that we're gonna connect right here, and then that is eventually gonna attach to the rest of the pipes going to the radiators.
That looks a little nicer.
Yeah, a little bit. OJ's installed a very factory looking zip tie with a push clip on it. Look at that factory goodness right there. Wow, that's beautiful. We have some hardware holding up the old heat shields. So before everything was so close to the headers, and now we have a ton of room, so we don't have to worry about heat. I could get these ceramic coated to keep the heat down even more, but there is just so much clearance now. I don't think we're gonna have any issues at all. Next up for the exhaust system were the mufflers and the tips, and this part required Billy to tack and test fit on the car multiple times to make sure the angles were just right. There's a lot more to designing an exhaust system than just connecting pipes, so OJ and Billy worked together on the design to give it that signature fluid tone. With the exhaust set up properly, Billy drilled in O2 sensor bungs and a cool custom hanger, and this is the final product before installation. So we went from two of these all the way to this. It is an absolute work of art. So like I said, there's a ton of science that goes into this, and OJ is gonna be our teacher today.
Best way I can equate it is it's a musical instrument, right? A lot of people think about the exhaust in terms of, oh, how much power can I get, flow, you hear people kick around terms like back pressure. At the end of the day, the biggest thing you're dealing with is the constraints of the vehicle, and can you put what you want to put to achieve what you want to achieve in those constraints? That's always the biggest hill that you're tackling. We had 4 things we wanted to hit with this thing. First of all, we needed to have both banks blended together. So the way you do that is with an X pipe, not an H pipe, an X pipe, and the entrance really dictates kind of how clean of a sound you have. If you see here, how these are straight shots, more or less, it's almost like you took this curved piece of pipe and laid it over the other curve. That allows the pulses to cross over each other without getting too raspy or any sort of distortion there. Once we had that accomplished, then it was how are we going to control the volume? 2 ways on that thing. For a engine with about, let's just be generous, let's say 500 horsepower, right? An engine with 500 horsepower, you're probably gonna need about an inch of pipe diameter for every 100 horsepower. And this is a rule of thumb. It's not scientifically, it's just something that gets you in a good range where you know that you're not gonna be losing power, leaving stuff on the table. Could we bump it up to 3? Yeah. Would that support more power down the road later on? Yeah, it would. But also, that tends to lend itself to drone. So without trying to make something that would be droney for this thing, leaving it to 2.5 and using the straight through resonators allows it to have the volume actually toned down, if that makes sense. So we've got the X pipe, we've got the resonators, we've got the size diameter. Last thing is the tips, right? Obviously tips are kind of the finishing touch, but you need to have something that presents itself well, especially on this car because it is sort of a head turner, and you don't want to put something that is too run of the mill on something that's this wild, right? So double wall, angle cut, We obviously bumped it up just to give it a more menacing, aggressive look, and kept it away from the bumper so we're not melting things and catching things on fire, you know. Lastly, the nice thing about this exhaust is because of the size of it, we were able to hang it straight from the engine using this little hanger here. Notice there's no rubber bushings or isolators. That's because it's going to move with the engine. We don't have to hang it from the body. And if we were hanging it from the body, we need something to isolate the vibrations that would be coming from the engine. Obviously we don't, so we can hang it right from the car, hard mount it. It's going to keep it nice and tight in there. The size of it, because there isn't a ton of weight, isn't gonna bend anything or move anything. And it just packs up in there really nice. Allows you to see it from below a little bit, and then the tips, like I said, finish it off.
You ready to get this thing up or what?
I really wanna hear how this thing sounds.
All right, awesome. We gotta bleed the coolant, and then we're bolting this up, and then we're starting it. Last part up top is bleeding the coolant system. So you guys have seen me use a vacuum bleeder before. We're pulling the cooling system into a vacuum so we can fill that vacuum with coolant, and then we won't have any air bubbles. I highly recommend you guys invest in one of these tools. It will save you a ton of time and a ton of headache, because when you get air bubbles in your cooling system, it just takes forever to bleed out, especially on this whole rear engine front cooling system. Just trust me. Little coolant top off, and we are ready.
You got hardware?
I got hardware. I got
Cool.
a gasket. You got a gasket. It's going in. It's going down. It's going up. It's going in. I gotta say, this exhaust setup is actually really light. There's so many hands on this thing because everybody's so excited to hear it. Oh, we're just a few bolts away. This is very cool how it utilizes the oil pan for mounting. The fitment is like factory. Perfect clearance all the way around. This looks so cool. It's kind of like a little Dorito, or it's a rotary engine now. Last piece of the puzzle under here, O2 sensor connection. And we'll use the factory blue locks that do absolutely nothing. I think GM could have saved a ton of money, and lots of other companies, by not using these. We'll be able to prove they do nothing because this one melted off on the old exhaust. But that is on there. What is the point? Maybe GM wouldn't have needed their bailout had they just skipped the clips. Skip the clips, GM. We are done installing the exhaust and done with work underneath the car for now, but this is what it used to look like. Horrible welds, horrible fitment, baking the starter to 1,000,000 degrees. And we went all the way to this, a beautiful piece of artwork, very functional artwork that's gonna sound amazing as well. So we're gonna start this up here in a few seconds. But I just wanted to show you the overall picture of how much we cleaned up. This thing was a total rat's nest before, and now that we have the entire exhaust installed, you can get a really clear picture of just how much room and how much cleanup we did and how much more proper this is, especially with the coolant hose being routed over here and not bunched up here on the subframe. More of the same on the driver's side, and I'm just so happy on how we sorted this all out. And here's what it looks like with everything plugged into the factory bulkheads. OJ's gonna do the celebratory first start. You ready, dude?
Is the world ready?
I think the world is ready. Are you guys ready? Let it rip. Oh, that's beautiful. That is so nice. Guys, it's quieted it down so much. It just sounds so good at idle now. Before it was pretty darn loud. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I'll show it to you a little bit more outside. But they did the tips kind of offset, and I think it looks really cool. That was something we were thinking about, and we just went for it, and I think it looks really great. Listen to this. That is way more proper. Way more proper. I mean, before it just sounded like someone lopped off the exhaust. It was very unrefined. This is great. This is so great. Dude, this sounds like a professional car and not like just a lop-off job, you know?
Let's get it warmed up and then we'll hear what it really does.
All right, you know we got to give it some RPM love. OJ's just holding it like 1,500, 2,000 right now. But wow, guys, this is gonna be so much more drivable. We got little flames going on here. Woo! Oh, this is the best. Guys, I love how the Capri sounds with a big choppy cam. This one's got a big cam too, but it is too loud. I don't drive it as much because of that. And this is more what I want for the Caprice as well. That This thing is shooting flames, man.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that, so.
That sounds great. Billy, once again, awesome job, dude. Thank you very much. You ready for a ride?
Yeah, let's get this thing together and we'll see how it sounds on the street.
All right, we're gonna torque up the wheels and go for a ride. I gotta say, this is the most excited I've ever been for an exhaust first drive because this is the biggest difference I've had. This is nuts. All right, OJ, you ready for this? Car's not ready yet. Man, I cannot wait to tune.
Normal LS startup issues.
Yeah. Oh, it's already such a pleasure to drive, and I've gone like 3 feet. Wow, is that nice. Louder is not always better, people. That's for sure. Dude, it's like an exotic. Like, seriously. This changes a lot for me with like my thought process behind LS engines. Like, I mean, I love them. I think they're one of the best, but like the sound, I've never heard an LS like this. Like, this is unreal. One of my favorite parts of going for test drives with OJ is that at this stage in the game, there isn't much that impresses OJ. Oh my gosh, dude. That sounds so good. Oh gosh, I hope the mics do this justice. But yeah, OJ works on a lot of cool stuff at Fluid MotorUnion, so this is just every day.
More or less. I'm always driving something either dumb or fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes both.
Or both, yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. I mean, my like opinion of this car now that it has this exhaust has completely changed. You know, there was a lot of stuff with the wide body that was a little questionable. It wasn't like exactly what I would do, and I don't know now. I don't know. Like, this might stick around longer than I had anticipated. Let's just say that right now. I don't getting ahead of myself here, but I really enjoy it, man. This is unbelievable. Gosh, the way that it just gets up to that legal speed limit immediately. This car was $27,000. Guys, I am definitely driving it this weekend. We are in November, but it's like 60 degrees out and sunny, and I'm taking this home. This is right up there with like some of the best sounding cars I've ever owned. Oh my gosh, one of them being my white C63, which also got a Fluid MotorUnion exhaust system. The entire thing, that thing was just, oh my gosh.
You might say we know what we're doing.
Maybe. A little bit. All right, OJ, you wanna drive?
Yeah, let me see. Do you know the actual red line of this thing?
I don't know much about it.
68.
Yeah.
Nothing more than I like hitting is the rev limiter if you got a decent sounding exhaust.
Oh man, what was that, 68?
Yeah, it looks like it's set to 68.
Okay. Good to know. We had to find out.
I think I had to find out because I bet it sounds that much better. 400 RPMs just over where we're at.
Well, maybe when we get it on the dyno one day.
We'll bump it up.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. If it's got a cam and it's got springs in it, 72 is safe.
All right, let's see. This would make an excellent track car. I mean, it already is an excellent track car right now.
Really stable, like, surprisingly.
Yeah. I have never really been on any kind of real racetrack before, so I think if I was gonna start to do anything like that, this would be the car.
Be a good car. It's not overpowered. It's not. It seems pretty balanced.
It's pretty controllable, and and we're on like rubber band tires that you know, they could be better.
They could be better.
So it's already very planted. The suspension feels great. There's no weird squeaks or rattles. It's just like, it's a solid car, and the body is like 180,000 miles. So
I've been in lower mileage cars that don't feel as solid as this thing.
Yeah.
So
California, Arizona vehicle, so it's not all corroded and destroyed, but
it does feel pretty decent.
yeah, I like it. All right, guys, I'm gonna plug in a few before and after clips right now for your listening pleasure. So I think it sounds a lot better now. I am a very happy camper. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, share the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. This is awesome. But anyway, and also, so I'm about to, got my coffee, that's, okay. Sun is blinding me. And take another sip, oh my gosh. Look at the sun. Leave us, sun. Hi, I'm right here. Everything's the wrong size. You don't have a 16, do you? I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.